All right, welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to be breaking down the song No Greater Love. Just the end that's really more like a vamp. It's just a beautiful, worshipful type of song. And I think this is really timely because it'll be in time for Resurrection Sunday. Anyways, here we go. We're going to be in the key of F major. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay? So the song starts off on the 4. Jesus went to Calvary. Then it goes to the 3. To save a wretch like you and me. That's love. Then it just goes back to the 4. That's love. Back to the 3. And then back to the 4 again. He hung him high. They hung him high. They stretched him wide. He hung his head. And then he died. That's love. That's love. Alright. So anyways, that's the song. But that's boring to just play the 4 to the 3 to the 4 to the 3. And you can do that, right? But we want to jazz it up. So let's look at those chords first. On the 4, I'm playing this as if it's like a major and ninth. So 1, 3, 5. There's your major 7th. And then there's your ninth. So B flat, D, F, A, and C. Alright, so Jesus went to Calvary to save a wretch. When I go to the 3, I'm playing this as an A, like a minor 7th. So A in my left hand. Right hand's playing a C major. So C, E, and G all together, right? And that's it. So that's what I'm doing. They're just going from the 4 to the 3. But there's a lot of things you can do to make this song more interesting and more powerful. All right, so what I like to do first of all is after I play the 3, I'll go to the 6. And then you can use that to take you back to the 4. All right. So the 6 is going to be like a D chord of some sort. So what I'm playing is a D in my left hand, and I'm making it kind of like a suspended type of chord by playing the G, C, and E, or a C major over it. Okay. You could even look at this as like a minor type of chord. So a minor 7th or a minor 11th. But I like to just play it as like the C major over that D. Makes it sound a little bit more open, and then that goes back to the 4. So Jesus went to Calvary to save a wretch like me. That's love. Then you go right back to the 4, right? That's love. All right, another thing we can do to start making this more interesting is anytime I want to get to the 4, I can play the 5-1-4 progression to get me there. What's that? 5 in the key of F is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is C. So I'm going to play like a C chord, C, E flat, and G with a E flat major over top of it. So E flat, G, and B flat. 5, right? And then a 1 is going to be F. I'm going to play that as a dominant 7th chord. So F and E flat in my left hand, and then F major in my right, F, A, and C. And then I go back to my same chord. Okay, which is basically an F major, right, over a B flat major. Gives you that major ninth sound. All right, so from the beginning. Jesus went to Calvary to save a wretch like me. That's love. Now I'm on the 4, right? Now I can throw in that 5-1-4 to get back to that. That's love. 5, 1. Jesus went to Calvary to save a wretch like me. That's love. 5-1-4. That's love. All right, what did I do that time for that 5-1-4? I played, instead of just playing an E flat major over that C minor, I'm playing an E flat major 7th, E flat, G, B flat. Add that D in there, makes it an E flat major 7th over your C minor. Then I'm playing my 1, and then I'm playing my 4. Now, when you play this 4, I like to play it this voicing because this is the melody, but technically speaking, you can just play this like as a major 7th. Okay, you don't have to do it as a major 9th. Okay, so you got some options there, right? You can do. You can play all of those different chords that I showed you before on ways to expand your major chords. All right, so here we go. Jesus went to Calvary, save a wretch like me. That's love. That's love. 5, 1. He hung his heart. They hung him high. They stretched him wide. He hung his head, and then he died. That's love. That's love. right, so now I'm playing the 5, 1, 4. Now I'm starting to play around with that 1, that dominant chord. I don't have to just play a regular dominant 7th chord, okay? I can start extending it. So what I did here was, instead of just playing the F as a dominant 7th, I'm playing as like an F 13th, a dominant 13th. All right, now how do I form the 13th chord? You play the root, 3rd, and the flat at 7th. So F, A, and E flat. I'm just thinking, play the 3rd of the chord that I'm on. If I'm playing an F dominant chord, play the 3rd of F. 1, 2, 3 is A as a quarter chord. A, D, and G. All right. And if you want to go back and learn more about quarter chords, I've got a lesson coming out on that soon. Okay. And that can take me to the 4. All right. So anytime I want to get to this 4, I can play the 1 as a passing chord to take me there, and that 1 can be dominant of some sort. So it can be an F regular F7, or it can be an F13, or I can start altering it, and we'll play around with that now. All right, so let's do some examples of that. Jesus went to Calvary, save a wretch like me. That's love. I'm on the 4, right? And here we go. That's love. 5, 1, 4. Okay, what did I do on that one? On that one, I played like a dominant 7th with a sharp 5th, or an augmented dominant 7th chord. So 1, 3, dominant 7, 3. This would be the 5, but I sharped it. So I'm just playing that C sharp. And it just adds more tension, okay? So it's like a dominant 7th with a sharp 5. So again, Jesus went to Calvary, save a wretch like you and me. That's love. I can squeeze it in there, right? Because I'm going to the 4. That's love. 5, 1, 4, 3, 6, 1, 4. I did the dominant 13th again, right? 5, 1, 4, 3, 6. Look at this one. That sounds good too, right? What did I do there? There, I'm actually just playing a triad that's a whole step above the root. So if I'm playing F major in my left, go up a whole step as G and form another major chord. Okay, and it gives you like a 6-9 with a sharp 11 type of sound. But it sounds good. You can use that anytime you're playing a dominant chord for the most part. So if I want to do the 5, 1, 4, right? It sounds good. Okay, and all I'm doing is stacking triads. Left hand is 1 as a triad. Right hand, go a whole step above that. F, play G major as a triad. G, D, and B, F, A, and C. All right, so all together. Jesus went to Calvary, save a wretch like you and me. That's love. That's love. Okay, and then all I'm doing is playing around with inversions. So that's another thing you can do. Something else you can do that sounds really good is you can play like the dominant 13th with a sharp 11 anytime you play the dominant chord. So if I want to play this F as a dominant to get me to the 4, right, the 1 to the 4, I'm going to play this dominant as a dominant 13th with a sharp 11. And how do I do that? I just play the root, the 3rd, and the flat at 7th. And in my right hand, I'm going to play that whole step up, which is a G, as a major chord. So that's similar to what we just did. Before, we just played this as a major chord with a major chord over top of it. All right, so let's hear it all together. Jesus, and it sounds good. All right. Okay, so that sounds pretty cool, right? Something else you can do is you can just play like a dominant 13th chord, right? How do I do that? What I'm going to do is play the root, 3rd, flat at 7th, and play the 6th of this chord. So if I'm playing F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6 is D, play that as a major chord in your right. Excuse me, play that as a minor chord in your right hand. So D, F, and A, it gives you D minor. When I play that together with the root, 3rd, and flat 7th, it gives me a dominant 13th sound. So you can look at this as find the 6th of F, or you can think about it this way. Just count down 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, and play that tone as a minor. All right, so all together. Jesus. Nice. Okay. Another thing you can do is instead of playing the 1 as a regular dominant 7th, you can play it as a dominant 7th with a flat 9th, and it would sound like this. Okay. Okay. Real tense. It feels good. Sounds good, right? So Jesus went to Calvary. Alright, something else you can do is instead of just playing a dominant 7th chord, you can play the dominant 7th with a sharp 5. How do we form that? You play the root, 3rd, flat 7th, and take the 3rd of that tone, which is A, right? 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Take the 3rd and play a major chord. Alright, so you have F, A, and E flat, and your left hand, right hand's playing A, C sharp, and E. And it sounds good. So all together. Jesus went to Calvary to save a wretch like me. That's love. That's love. 5, 1, 4. Okay, and it sounds good. All right, and then one other thing that you can do that I want to show you is you can play the dominant 13th with a flat 9, and it sounds absolutely beautiful. All right, what is a dominant 13th with a flat 9? It goes like this: 1, 3, flat 7th, right? So F, A, and E flat. What I'm going to do is count 3 half steps below my root. If my root is F, go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and play that as a major chord. So D major, D, F sharp, and A. One of my favorite things to do. And you can play it in whatever inversion, and it sounds great. Okay, so here you go. Jesus went to Calvary, save a wretch like me. That's love. That's love. All right, and it sounds great. So that's some things you can do in this particular song, especially when you're playing around with the 5-1-4 progression. Now, something else you can do, talking about passing chords here, right, to jazz the song up and kind of reharmonize it, is instead of doing the 5 to the 1 to the 4, what you can do is you can play the tritone substitution. All right, so use the tritone substitution instead of playing the 1. Right? Instead of playing that as a dominant chord to take you to the 4, I'm going to play a dominant chord that's a tritone away from it. Hence, tritone substitution. So what is a tritone? A tritone is an interval with or a distance of 3 whole steps. So if I count 3 whole steps up or down, I'll go up since I'm so low on the keyboard. That'll give me what the tone is. That's a tritone away. So 3 whole steps away from F is 1, 2, 3 is B. So according to the tritone substitution, I can play the 5, and instead of playing the F as a dominant 7th chord, I'm going to play the B as a dominant 7th chord of some sort, and use that to take me to the 4. Okay, so tritone substitution basically just says play a dominant chord that's a tritone away from what you're trying to replace. If I'm trying to replace this F dominant 7th, I'm going to find the tritone away from the F, which is B, and play a dominant 7th of some sort there, or a dominant chord of some sort there. And it sounds good. Okay, so let's just play around with that and make this just a regular dominant 7th chord, okay? Alright, so Jesus went to Calvary, save a wretch like you and me, that's love. Right? We can do it again instead of the 5. Instead instead of the one, we'll play dominant tritone away. It sounds good, right? 3, 6, and I substituted the 1, 5. All right, so now that we know what a tritone substitution is, guess what? I can start playing around with that tritone substitution. I don't have to just play this B as a dominant chord, as a straight dominant 7. I can do some fun stuff, like why not make it a dominant 7th with a sharp 9, sharp 5? How do I do that? I'm going to count down 2 whole steps below my root. 1, 2, which is G, and play that as a sus2 chord. So G, A, and D over top of that B chord, B major, right? So B, D sharp, F sharp, or B, E flat, G flat. And then I'm thinking 2 whole steps down from that B is G. Play that as a sus2. So G, A, and D. This is why you got to know your basics. And it sounds good, okay? So let's listen to it. Jesus went to Calvary to save a wretch like me. That's love. 5, right? I substituted the 1, but that tritone substitution, specifically that sharp 9, sharp 5 chord. Okay, another way I can play the sharp 9, sharp 5 is play the root, 3rd, flat 7. Go down a whole step from my root, a whole step down from B is A, and play that as a chordal chord. So A, D, and G. And that sounds good together. So B and E flat, and then A, D, and G. So 5, tritone substitution to the 4. Jesus went to Calvary to save a wretch like me. That's love. That's love. Sounds good. Another thing you can do on this tritone substitution, instead of just playing a B dominant 7th chord, why not make it a dominant 13th with a sharp 11th? How do I do that? Well, I just count up a whole step from my root. So 1, 3, flat 7. A whole step above B is C sharp. Play that C sharp as a major. And it sounds great. As love, Jesus went to Calvary. Another thing you can do is play the dominant 7th with the flat 9. All right, how do I form that? Root, 3rd, flat 7, right? Go a half step up, which is just C, and play minor chord. C minor, C, E flat, G. And it sounds good, right? That's love. Jesus went to Calvary. Something else you can do is play the dominant 7th, right? With the sharp 5 and a major 7th. Sounds complicated. How in the world do you play that? Play the root, 3rd, flat 7th, right? Whatever your 3rd is E flat. Play that as a major chord in your right hand, folks. E flat, G, and B flat. And it sounds good, okay? So, and again, I'm just doing all of this instead of playing my tritone substitution as a regular dominant chord. I can jazz it up with the alterations and things like that. All right, so here we go. Jesus went to Calvary, save a wretch like me. That's love. That's love. So that's several ideas and several different things that you can do to mix it up, to jazz up the song, and to spice up some of the voicings and the chords that you're using. All right, I hope this is a blessing to you. If you want more content just like this, make sure that you like, click, and subscribe to the channel. Also, check me out at kmtcpro.com for more awesome videos. I hope it's a blessing to you, and I'll see you in the next video.